the navigation of lifing. And no matter how far down the rabbit hole this Kelly equation goes, there still seem to be those bumps in the road where the mind wants to get really busy, joining in the chaos and participating in all the convoluted ways the mind wants to do things. I find it hilarious at times and heartbreaking at others, especially in the moments of grief. There are days when there is an absolute earnestness so present that mantra is the only way through that navigation. The mantra quiets the mind. All these thoughts aren't true, none of them are, about things, places and people, even death. The story of Kelly knows experientially that death is pure illusion, and yet, when it happens in the human departments, the human grief still does its thing. And any resistance to that, any idea that we can remove ourselves from that, is absolute spiritual bypassing. I choose not to compare my experiences to others, whether it be joy or grief, happiness or sadness. Often, these days, sharing what is coming up is less and less, simply because others seem to want to give their perspective, and there's an awareness that I am each of those. It's just another invitation to dive into stories, none of which are true. There's this simple truth that we subtly want to step over. Not one thought is true. As I navigate this new tiny home, and I make each little living space my own, and I move about, organizing, using spaces I didn't have in the other tiny home, enjoying the full kitchen, doing loads of laundry, soaking in a hot bath. These basic, first world, amazing things that we get to have that we take such granted of. We just don't pause enough in my mind to say thank you. I find myself thanking each little expression, even the ones that feel the hardest. I've shared that my sweet Milo has crossed over. I would be lying to say that has not thrown Kelly for a loop. Boy, did that little guy have my heart. He just did. And I know why. Because he loved me unconditionally. Something that is so precious and so rare. I want to honor him by doing that for others, even when I feel abandoned, even when I feel sidestepped, even when I feel shut down. I want to rise to those moments in that unconditional love, like a puppy just excited for the moment, wagging its tail, giving cold nose kisses, snuggling in for that love without words. It can be to a stranger or to someone very close to us. I just think that is the best way to honor someone so beautiful. In my Snippets and Whimsy that I'm sharing today, it was the first day that I really felt capable physically, mentally, energetically, and spiritually to make some of my favorite things in the kitchen and really love up on this Kelly. She's been going so hard between her work, between her move, between her loss of this amazing part of her family, missing her son horrifically, and just knowing that she deserves a little pampering and a little love. And to look outside of herself for that will be a disappointment over and over again. So it is once again going within or going without. Certainly we can scurry about trying to force our way into others' lives, but that never serves anyone. In the stillness, if it is meant to be part of my experience, it will arise. It will show up. It will be that unconditional love that Milo gave to me all these years. I won't have to ask for it or beg for it. I won't have to seek it or tempt it. I don't need to make fake approaches to it or to them. I have no interest in living in that way. It must be organic and natural and easy, and it must represent what I am all about now, which is loving as fully and completely and unconditionally as I can to myself, especially, and then by default to others. I'm adoring this new space. I feel like I'm in a mansion now compared to the old space. Everything's now purposely put away, and the old space is now marketed to be sold. That nest served me for 4 years. There's something so potent and powerful about that, and yet I'm ready to say farewell. Whoever is going to embark on a journey in that little tiny home will hopefully experience all of the love and the joy that Milo and I experienced for the time that we had it. And now it's about new chapters, new beginnings, and new normals. I have no idea what this looks like. I don't even know where I'm going to be at the end of this week. I simply move where I am drawn, and I lean into those who lean into me. I hope that each of you finds this in your heart to be as loving and kind to yourselves in this equation of being human. Certainly there's going to be bumps in the road. There's going to be narrow crossings and rocky passages. Each of those is attributed to the mind convoluting what is ahead of it. And we all do it until we don't. I see how the universe keeps lining up with these beautiful miracles. Even this tiny home, the way that it showed up for me when it did. It wasn't intended. Just as the last tiny home, everything about this was a miracle. And yet, I'm looking out the window in my new space, and I'm thinking, what shall she be named? So many shared names that they thought of for my new space, and I simply can't land on one because I love them all. So I'm just giving it time. It'll name itself. It'll do itself. There's no need to force or push anything. I love this community of tiny home followers and Nurture Your Soulers. And I love sharing in conversations about life and the mysteries and the magical equations that come with it. But I also love honoring grief, loss, endings and beginnings, because without them, the other stuff would not be here either. With every yin, there is a yang. Celebrate them all, attached to none, and by goodness gracious, love yourself so unconditionally. Don't wait for someone else to do that for you. When you do it for you, it's so much easier for others to rise up and do it with you. I hope this finds you all with an open heart, breathing and not resisting, and knowing how absolutely loved that you are. Much love. Until next time.